Hi, I'm Dr. Jess, and I'm here with Ellie, the owner of Eating Elevated. And so, Ellie, would you like to introduce yourself and how you got into Eating Elevated and everything?
Oh my gosh, I would love to. Well, first, it's so exciting to be here. Obviously, we share really similar clientele. The mamas, the kiddos, we love to help the families be well. And that's such a gift. I am a registered licensed dietitian. I did my undergraduate at the University of Minnesota. Um, Attained my master's degree in integrative health with a focus on trauma from Northwestern Health Sciences University. And I was raised in total Western medicine. My husband is actually the one who got me into a holistic, more crunchy lifestyle. So much of what EE is today, I owe to him and his support, and his patience with me and my stubbornness. But I just realized that I wasn't getting well following the conventional route that I had been educated in and trying to follow. And I was dealing things after the birth of our first daughter, 9 years ago now, like anxiety, extreme gut dysbiosis, cystic acne, a lot of mental health struggles. And so he just was very patient with me, very gentle with me, but so good at loving me through what I was going through. And finally, he was like, please go see my practitioner, Jane. And Jane did applied kinesiology or muscle testing, which I was like so sassy about. What is she going to push on my arm and tell me what? Like what supplements to
Right?
take, what I cannot eat? Like so stubborn, so prideful. The Lord loves to keep me humble, I tell people. And when wives come in and they're like, "Oh, my husband is," and I'm like, "That's me. I was the husband. It's okay. Like we'll get there." But with Jane, she had told me I was dealing with some parasitic stressors and there was some foods that were causing inflammation. And within 2 weeks, it totally changed my life. And that's not always the norm. But because I was so stubborn, I'm like, I'm going to follow everything she says to a T and prove her wrong. And in fact, I proved her more right. And then I'm like, okay, I need to learn how to do this. I need to learn, the basis of muscle testing. And so, like I said, he loves to keep me humble because now we have Eating Elevated, which is one of the largest holistic health practices in Minnesota. We are a Christ-centered business, holistic health business that's integrative. We have things like IVs, labs, therapeutics, and then the muscle testing to really help give people a variety of options to be well and support them in various ways because it's a lifestyle, right? And you see that. So you need to have strong connections and be able to really help people heal. So that was kind of long-winded, but
I love it.
wouldn't be without my husband. And we have five beautiful children with our sixth on the way. So we're super blessed.
Congratulations.
Thank you so
That's so
much.
exciting.
It is so good.
Um,
So blessed.
can you dive deeper into muscle testing? So I know what muscle testing is because I've been to you guys before, but could you give a broad generalization on what that is?
Yes, absolutely. I'll try to give the quick, like 2-minute synopsis, if not shorter. So, what we look at first is your autonomic nervous system, which is super intertwined with your spine, communicating with muscles, organs, and tissues the way that it's supposed to. And you, Dr. Jess, probably talk to your clients a lot about this, but you have your gas pedal part, sympathetic, like 80% of those fibers, 20% is your parasympathetic down regulator, rest and digest, helps you fall asleep, stay alive while you sleep. So two really important jobs, two really distinct times which the gas should be going, brakes should be stopping. But sometimes we get clients in who are it doesn't feel like the gas and brake are working at all, right? So
Right.
we make sure that that car is turned on, that the communication is working well. And we do that by checking neurological blocking and neurological switching every time clients come in. Blocking just means, okay, can nerves communicate with the body the way that God intended? And then neurological switching is when they communicate, are they communicating at the right time in the right way? So just a couple high level examples. If someone comes in and they're blocked, it's I feel fatigued as soon as I wake up, even though I've slept all night. I'm not pooping every day. My hormones are not doing for me what they're supposed to be, whether that's low motivation, lack of libido, lack of cycle in general, lack of ovulation, just like a lack of fill in the blank, even though you're really trying to be intentional about it. And then neurological switching is much more chaotic. Neurological switching is when that parasympathetic and sympathetic are sort of like revving, both trying to fight. And so the engine could be revving, or the engine could be totally not moving, or the gas could be totally going and like wide open, which a lot of women are stuck in right now. So that neurological switching can be much more chaotic. High highs, low lows, trouble turning off the brain to fall asleep. When you wake up at night, you can't fall back asleep. Anxiety without a cause, gut distress without a cause. And just like these extreme highs and lows. And then once you're out of it, it's like, I have no idea what triggered that in the first place. And that's usually a sign there's some nervous system stress. So we look to correct that first. And then with the muscle testing, it's like triggering a mini fight or flight response in your body. So it's saying, hey, body, what's more important, protecting you against an external stressor, so this person pushing on my arm, or protecting the specific organ or area that we're triggering with therapy localized ischemic touch. So I'm just going to, I would take my hand, or a practitioner would take their hand and trigger an organ, saying, hey, thyroid, how are you today? And if the thyroid is strong, the arm's going to say, no, I know that my thyroid is doing okay. So I'm going to keep my attention, all of my nerve signals going to this deltoid muscle that you're using to do the testing. If that thyroid is under stress, if it's weak or fatigued for whatever reason, the arm is going to unlock. It's going to say, no, in a fight or flight situation, I'm going to protect myself internally. And I would rather protect this organ or area than protect myself against someone pushing on my arm. When it comes down to primitive nature, okay, when we're running from a bear, we always want our body to protect us from the bear. So if the body is saying, I'd rather protect this organ or area, that's a sign to a practitioner. This area is under stress and it needs some attention. And so that's kind of it in a nutshell. If we want to get into the physiology of it, I tell clients it's like frequency testing. We always just push on a body, though. We never do it distance or remote. We're a little too black and white for that. But it's like a sound wave without the sound is what frequencies are. And basically, if the thyroid would come up, we take our test kits, which are full of these frequencies, or homeopathics is probably a better way to describe the energetic resonances in the water. Just an imprint, just like with homeopathy, of aluminum or, metals, chemicals, immune challenges, or food or scar tissue. So we'll take that and we'll keep talking to the thyroid. We'll be like, okay, thyroid, why are you so sassy? What is really bothering you? And when we're triggering that thyroid, we can get a frequency match of the specific things that are bothering it. So the way I describe this to clients is, if you have a tuning fork on one side of the room and you strike it, a tuning fork of the same note will start to vibrate when the sound wave hits it without striking it. As long as it's the same note and it's a matching frequency, it's going to pick up on that. So that's what we're looking for in your body, like a sound wave without the sound. And it's pretty amazing how specific we can be. It's so, so, so cool. Even now, pulling in functional lab work, a lot of the labs that we're pulling are just so indicative of what we're already working on with the muscle testing. And it's so much more affordable to just do the muscle testing, which is so cool. So just a little plug for the science geeks out there like me. You can have one, you can have the other, you can do both, but obviously they're very synergistic because our body knows what it wants to be well. And that's how we find the supplements. As soon as we figure out if there's a stressor, say for example, there's heavy metals bothering the thyroid, or a really common one, fluoride. We'll put a binder on that can bind up that fluoride, and that usually gets the thyroid strong, but not exactly where we want it to be. So then we add some nutrition support to say, hey, thyroid, I see you're a little sassy. What do you need to be well? So you stop bothering other organs. And so we'll add on some really specific to that person thyroid supplement. And then if the thyroid is strong, we're like, perfect. The really interesting thing that we do at Eating Elevated is we look at, okay, the thyroid, the pituitary, the heart, and the liver all came up. But which one is the one that has been the most mad for the longest? We find the priority of the body. Our organs are like kids in a sandbox. If just one of them's throwing sand, they're all mad. So we really, really look to correct the one that's been the most mad for the longest and calm it down. And usually all those other organs start to fall into place. So one common thing that we hear from people is, am I going to need supplements for every organ? No, if we can really work on diet and lifestyle, but really paying attention to the main stressors you're testing for. Are they sneaking in your lifestyle in another way? And then really therapeutic repletion, really intentional therapeutic repletion of nutrition for whatever organ is the priority. Most of those other organs are like, oh, thank gosh, they figured it out. We are going to be fine. Let's calm down. Everyone calm down. Go back to doing your job. And so it's beautiful how intentionally the body was designed by our amazing God to heal in the right conditions. And we like to help create those conditions.
I love that. I love that so much. You guys even see dogs every once in a while? Because I brought my dog too, because he was having chronic diarrhea. And little did I know that you can give your dog supplements. And so he's been like fixed ever since. So
Our
he's great.
pet
But
segment, like our practitioner went on maternity leave. She had twins and she's still on maternity leave like a year later, which is great. She needs all the time with her babies. But honestly, muscle testing for pets saves pet owners thousands of dollars because the vet is so, I mean, I have a dog. The vet is so expensive. You know,
yeah.
if you're going to the vet, it's like, okay, this is about 6 hours and $3,000 to $4,000 of my time that we are gonna have to dish up. And it's so pets are even more adaptable than people because they have way more factors within their body and within their gut to protect them. So just like with pets and humans, like symptoms, we get upset about them, but they're signs that something is not right. And if you can really tap into, okay, body, you're telling me something is wrong. What can I do to fix it? That's where muscle testing can be this amazing key that unlocks that door in such a simple and straightforward way.
Yep. No, I love that so much. So what are some common things that you guys see on the daily, I would say, or like very, very frequently?
Well, I think in the world that we live in, really common stressors for people are just from our household products, toxins, our water supply, chemicals, things that just trickle in that we maybe are aware of, but aren't aware that they're exacerbating our symptoms, like fragrances from cleaning products causing headaches, or skin eczema and rashes from, the soaps that our kids are using at school. So it's not to be fearful of those things. It's really, really hard to live a completely toxin-free life. And we always, preach the 80-20, 80% of the time, do the best you can so that 20% of the time when you don't have control, it's okay. It's not going to take you down and out. So those household products and learning how to switch those over in a way that doesn't break the bank is huge for our clients. Our water supply is huge for our clients, like getting filtered shower head filters, drinking distilled water, things like that. Your water can be a source of heavy metals, chemicals, and pathogens, especially if you have city water. I have well water, and it was a huge source of parasites for us. And that's the other main thing we see a ton of is parasites, parasitic infections, candida, fungal infections, things like that. The thing that we love at Eating Elevated is honestly and truly, and we've kind of made a name on it, is we're usually people's last resorts. Like they've gone to their doctor multiple times, they've tried different extreme diets multiple times, and they're like, I'm going to give this weird muscle testing thing a try. I don't know what it is, but I'm going to go for it.
Yep.
And it's amazing how much less stressful that actually makes the process for people. If we can give them tangible things to focus on. Because I bet for some of the moms and people watching this, to hear cleaning supplies, water, and parasites all in a sentence, it's like, oh my gosh, where do I even start?
Very
Yes,
overwhelming for sure.
yes, it can be super stressful. The beautiful thing about muscle testing is you might not even need to start with any of those. Yours might be some foods that are causing inflammation. We can help you figure it out. It makes the path to living a more holistic lifestyle, at least right away, feel like less all or nothing, less stress. And it really empowers you to take control of your health in a way that is going to be impactful, that you're going to see results with, and that can open the door for you to start to assess other things while not breaking the bank and feeling overwhelmed doing it.
That's amazing. So what are some things that you suggest in like daily life to reduce some of the toxins and stressors? You kind of went over like water filters and everything like that, but is there anything like major that you like, let's do this right now type of
Do
thing?
that. My biggest ask, especially for like women dealing with hormones and fertility and having young children, is like get a water filter. Please start filtering your water, especially if you have city water. I mean, there's so many studies now on our water. I live in Otsego, and the city of Otsego passed like a $4.3 million initiative to clean up our drinking water. It's because it's dirty. Like this, it doesn't need to be an argument. It doesn't need to be a point of my water is fine. Like it's not personal. It's just gross. You can only do so much with it, right? So that's usually where I recommend people start is just like clean water, clean bathing water, clean drinking water for you, for your children. The impact that's going to make on your endocrine system alone is huge. And a lot of women are dealing with endocrine stress now. I work a lot with women on their hormones. And so if we can start to tap into the water, that is big. And if anybody is listening to, we have a podcast, Elevated Conversations about Health and Healing. I'm a huge advocate for therapeutics, for sauna and for red light, especially in the toxic world we live in. Instead of feeling overwhelmed, I like to empower people to get into a sauna. Like you can be stressed about heavy metals. Like I just got my hair done, aluminum foil, right? I take my binders, I get in the sauna, I call it a day because your body can only process metals so fast and they can sneak in through aluminum foil when we're cooking, the pots and pans that we're using. So if you're taking a binder daily, that's a huge one that we recommend for people. And then a sauna session, within 2 sauna sessions, studies have shown your body is excreting those metals that normally take like, years to tens of years to kick out at half of that rate in your system because the body systems can only work so quick on certain
Yeah.
things. So I always recommend using Asana if you can, because it is such a great opportunity to help your liver, to help your lymph, to decrease that toxic load so that, again, you have more resiliency when you're out in the world. So utilizing therapeutics using Asana, getting on a binder would be huge. Getting water filters, huge. And then just starting to look at the products in your home. And as you run out, make one swap at a time. It doesn't need to be overwhelming. Find a brand you like. Thankfully, there's some affordable ones. Toxi-free is what I'm seeing all over online lately, and it's a great option. So that would be just simple swaps that don't break the bank. That's huge.
I love that. Well, thank you for being here with us today. It was lovely
Thank
talking
you, Mom,
to
Ellie.
you. That's
Yes,
good.
it was so great connecting. And if anybody has any questions, feel free to reach out. But we're all in this together. It's so important to have a tribe. And so we're here for that.
We're all in this together, which is amazing.
Amen. Amen, sister.